We're sitting down, so you know this is going to be a serious video. Hey y'all, it's Taren. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a different video. I've never done anything like this here on my channel, so we're gonna give it a go. See if you like it. Also, I'm a little bit self-conscious about my hair. I think because the videos you're about to see, my hair looks phenomenal. It's also like 78 and muggy outside and my hair just, for the life of me, will not hold a curl. So if I mess with it a lot more than usual, that is what's happening. Cozy season, it's not, but I still love this sweatshirt. It's from Chic Soul, by the way. Okay, anyways, so today we're going to react to some of my very first live television news reports. So if you didn't know, if you're not new here, you know this already. I say it all the time. But before I did this job that you're watching right now, I was a full-time news reporter, news anchor sometimes. I was a producer, I was an editor, I ran teleprompter, I was a photog, video editor. Did I say that already? I've done almost that's not true. I've done quite a few different jobs within a television newsroom, including on-air jobs, which I did for the majority of my television career. So I worked in TV for probably 13 years. Yeah, probably 13 years. In the last 2.5, 3 years of my life, I've been doing YouTube full time. So I want to pull up some older clips of me from those first reports that we did. So these are probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I think that's what it said on YouTube when I found them. If you like these kinds of videos, you can see her. If you like these kinds of videos, please thumbs up, subscribe. If you want to see more of these, I have so many because, again, I did this for years and years and years. A live report every single day, sometimes multiple times a day for years. So I do have quite the collection of clips if we want to do more recent ones, more late ones, like whatever you want to do, let me know. If you don't want to do it again, also let me know. And we won't ever do this again. So I think I may shift. I'm actually sitting with the blanket in my lap. I may shift a little bit so I can put the clip, here. Yeah, that feels about right. I'm gonna move you a little bit. All right, so the first clip that we are going to watch is from a report where I did with a PBR, like live bull riding thing was coming to town. And so I was typically like the morning show reporter, sometimes the noon show reporter. And so they would have me just do like some crazy things, whatever they thought would be good TV, and I was game for it. So what's special about this one is it was like one of the first reports that Brian, my husband, watched. So we've been together probably 7 or 8 years at this point. 7 years feels about right. And this was one of the very first things that he watched me do on live TV. And I remember thinking, as it's happening, that he is watching this. Will he ever speak to me again? Maybe, and maybe not. So let's just watch it, and I'll interject things as needed.
In a whip trick today.
Yes, I most certainly was. I agreed to the trick, then heard the whip. So I was...
My hair also, by the way, never curled it. I didn't start curling my hair until probably the last like 3 years of my life. Straight all day, every day.
nervous, but I'm all intact now, so it's all good. I also got the chance to meet a real professional bull rider, and he is first on tap for tomorrow night's event.
They were actual bulls in our parking lot. So this group pulled bulls in a trailer, parked them in front of the TV station, and I just walked outside to do these reports.
Of rodeos, he has been riding for 7 years, and he is only 20. The Alabama native is first on roll call for Saturday night's Professional Bull Riders Challenge. Piece of cake, he says.
They ran.
I will say too that my voice is a little bit different now that I've had more experience in television, because back in the day it was very, I had a news director one time tell me it was very sing-songy. So I wouldn't end my sentences on a period and then start over. It was almost like I ended every sentence or statement as a question. Okay, here we go.
Open? Yeah,
I remember doing this and thinking, what is happening in my life right now?
Oh, how about that?
And I wasn't the only one who got in on the fun.
I got to put my knee on him.
Start with your knees so he
Make
knows
sure
you're
that
coming.
He knows I'm coming? Okay. All right. So he knows I'm coming.
And he knows you're there.
I didn't know Pat got on. Okay, Pat, the guy in the blue polo shirt, was an anchor. at the TV station at the time when I worked there, and I had no idea. I wonder how he felt about that. I need to send him that clip just so that he can watch it back. Okay, that one, takeaways. I'm very critical of myself. Obviously, the sing-songiness. I do talk a little bit too fast, but you know, it is what it is. The hair, again, that was probably my natural hair color. So that's why I try to avoid watching these because it makes me want to dye my hair. Or not even dye it, like stop dyeing it and have that natural hair color. Let's move on to, I do have like a compilation, they call them a resume reel, where it's like a bunch of stand-ups, whether it's live, in studio, on scene, whatever the case may be, and then you follow it up. So it's like a few minutes worth of stand-ups, which are you in front of the camera holding the mic talking for probably 15, 20 seconds. And then you do a couple minutes of those and follow it up with a couple of news stories that you're really proud of. And that's what you send to television stations that you're interested in working at. Typically in TV, we work under contract. So every couple of years, your contract comes up and your current station can say, hey, we want to keep you, let's renew your contract. Or you can also say, I don't really want to stay, and try to move on. And this is what you would put together to send to a potential employer that you want to work for. So this is just a couple of live shots that I wanted to play because that's what we're doing here. Okay, first one's up. Hurricane conference begins in Mobile. My hair, again, amazing. I also lived in the tanning bed back in the day. So my skin's like glowing. I'm a little bit tan. My natural hair color is just so pretty. I feel like my skin is phenomenal. Skin is phenomenal because of the tanning bed. You know what I mean? Like it dries everything out. So I had like no breakouts, no issues, like nothing. Okay, let's watch it before I just like talk the whole time about how I look.
Gadgets, something I talked about earlier, and something that I personally find really cool, like weather apps or interactive radar screens, a lot of things that you can see here and not just hear here. And make sure that if you have any coupons, you have them in your hand and they're ready to go. Also remember that you're probably going to be waiting in line for a while.
I was mostly the social media reporter. So they technically called me the web content specialist at this time on air. And I would talk about all the like tech gadgets and new apps and websites and things like that were coming out. So they would use me for those sorts of reports, but also if there was breaking news, I was technically considered the breaking news reporter, which I think you'll see some of that stuff in here too. And if someone robbed a bank or there was a shooting or something and they needed to send someone, then they would send me. I was also probably the last resort to send to do things like that. But if I was in the newsroom and something happened and no one else was available, they would send me as the breaking news reporter. If I could pick what I did in television, I would probably still be in it, but you can't. You are hired on, say, as a reporter, and that covers everything. You can't just be the reporter for fun things. This top, I love. It's like a gray crisscrossy top. I think it's so pretty. Also, I was like known, I don't know if I was known for, but I loved big chunky earrings. I thought they were so pretty.
Those who served, and I am honored to have met Petty Officer Julio Rivera. Squash and beans, potatoes and tomatoes. We are tearing it up at the Windmill Market, and guess what? It's all local, but there's something a little extra offered here.
So Tearing It Up was an actual segment or series, I guess, that I had talked my news director into letting me do. We used my name, Taren, but we would call it Tearing It Up, and I would do local stories in the community. They were always fun, whether it was like Mardi Gras or history-related stories or local produce, farmers market type stories. We did Tearing It Up for a while.
And a little bit of line dancing. We're kicking our heels up with some good old country music. To the left, to the right. Look at those moves. And of course, I had to jump into. But with something a little more simple.
I remember this story, this yellow dress, I'm pretty sure it's from Cato Fashions, loved the belt on it. I remember this because one of my very best friends, Stephanie, her grandfather, we called him Grandpa, he actually would go to the senior center and like during the day and like he had made like tons of friends and he would hang out and like do all these things. And he reached out to me one day and said, hey, we've got this really cool senior center. Would you be interested in doing a Tearing It Up or some kind of report? And I was like, absolutely. So I remember going and he was like, so happy, like so proud to have me there. I don't know, it was such a fun day. He has since passed away, and so I think like when I watch this, but I just think of him because he was the one that reached out, and like whenever we were doing the electric slide dances, he was like, you know, get it, girl, you're doing such a good job. Like he was so nice, and that's what I think of when I watch this. Also, I remember that the outro, like the tag at the end, took me like 17 tries. To walk out the door and say those words took me so long. And the woman who worked at the senior center that was like helping me organize everything and kind of watching behind the scenes to make sure, you know, we got what we needed and all that stuff. I remember her standing on the side and being like, you got this. You can do it. And it took me so many tries. I remember being so embarrassed. And one of them, I had finally like said the whole spiel all the way through. And then she came up and she was like, your belt is crooked. And I was like, dang it. So we did it again. But that's what I think of too when I look at that one. All right, last one. Let's do paddle boarding. So my goal in working and like doing these fun stories was to make it a fun experience. So I did a Tearing It Up where I went paddle boarding. I had never been paddle boarding in my life. I was also a little bit confused on what you wear because you're going to be on television. So I didn't want to just wear a swimsuit. But then do you wear a swimsuit with shorts? Like I wasn't really sure what to wear. So I ended up wearing like legging capris and a button up, like blousey material top that when I knew it got wet, it wouldn't be see-through or anything, or it wouldn't like be baggy. I'm just going to skip ahead to the good part of me actually out in the water.
Start you off on your knees first and then see if we can gradually get you up to your feet.
First go round, like Bob said, on my knees, paddleboarding wasn't so bad. Then it was time to stand. Easier said than done, especially when you have an audience.
Ugh. Oh, I ate it that time, like full face in the water, hair wet and everything. I really didn't think my hair was going to get wet. For some reason, I was like, I'm just going to go paddleboarding. I'll stand up. We'll do a little story. It'll be so fun.
What's my final score?
Who am I kidding?
B+.
That's a pretty good grade.
Yeah, I thought you did well.
He gave me a B+. Bob, bless you, Bob. Okay, so I think that's probably enough for today. We did what? Quite a few things. I hope you enjoy these types of videos. Like I said in the beginning, I had a lot of fun working in television. Probably this station, this NBC 15, was my favorite station I worked at. Just the people that worked there and the atmosphere and the freedom I had to do fun stories. Like I wasn't really on the payroll as a reporter. I was on the payroll as a web content specialist / breaking news reporter. So it gave me the leeway to really play around and do the more fun stories. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely did get to do fun things at other places as well. But this station, my focus was mainly like the fun, tearing it up and live reports with the bull and stuff. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that I worked the morning show and the noon show. So that's why I chose that station. Also, it was the first one that I really got my true first on-air experiences. I did dabble in it a little bit, a couple of stations before that, but never as a full-time job like here. So that's why I wanted to show you those. Plus, that was the station that Brian, like, spotted me first, I guess. And so I think it's fun to look back at some of those. Also, my hair looks amazing. Why do I do this to myself? Like, don't get me wrong. I love the blonde hair. I mean, I need to get my roots done. But I feel like blonde hair Taren is so fun and just like vibrant. But that low maintenance and the fact that it was such a pretty color just naturally, let me know what you think down below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different for my channel, but I want to see if you like it. I like doing stuff like this, so we can absolutely do it again. Maybe we could do next time more of like the more serious, like harder stories, if we want to talk about some of those, because it's a totally different feel than the fun things. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see ya in my next one. Bye, y'all.